Donkeys, powered by Weed on Soul. Welcome to High Intelligence. Happy Friday. We've got Genius Pothead, Rick Star, and Crypto Stoner here. Myself, Tricky Buddha. Hope you're having a great time. Retweet the room, and let's get into it. How's it going, Genius Pothead?
Yeah, welcome. Happy Friday, everybody. We got lots to talk about today. I mean, there's a lot happening this week. We got lots to talk about that's going to happen next week. Excited to be here. This is always my favorite part of the week to hang out with you guys and just shoot the shit. I mean, just hang out, just talk shop, and yeah, it's good to be here. Welcome, Rick. Welcome, Crypto. How you doing, guys?
Good week. Markets are pumping, so smiles all around.
Nice. I like it. Crypto, how are you, my friend?
Doing good. Watching the swing plays kind of work out in the cycle or the part of the cycle we're in. So we were just talking about it before we went live, but seeing the swings during these volatile times and just buying when it's scary and selling when it's euphoric really kind of has been doing well. We'll get into it deeper, but it's an amazing day in the market. It's green here. This is your favorite part of the day, so let me start you off with some. Oh no, I forgot I was streaming the other day. Hold on, let me fix this. We were streaming. So last Saturday. Let me fix that.
Your soccer car thing.
Yeah. We ended up doing Rocket League, and we were doing, if you could take me in a 1v1, which no one ended up doing it yet. But if someone takes me in a 1v1 on Rocket League, they get an NFT for it. So
was anybody close?
So actually, no, nobody wanted to challenge me. It basically came down to it was me and Rune Lord playing. He's a big supporter of multiple projects. So it was me and him, and then I was playing with his son. His son was playing as well. He's only 10. He's really good. He was a monster. And that's so we played, and people said they were afraid to 1v1 me. But I'm sure someone will come along. We're also going to do different games. So we're going to do games that are, fighting games, shooting games. I used to game a lot, and I played competitive for a long time. So to be able to hold my own makes it fun to give some incentives for communities. So if we want to do some giveaways, you got to put in some work to get those NFTs. So something we're trying, doing some game nights, and
maybe we should do like a Pudgy Penguins game night. Or
I just know it's an unfair challenge. I know he's got this down. He's gonna smoke whoever comes up in the competition.
All right, my favorite part of the week. Bubble maps.
What? Wait, why is Whiff backwards? It's everything.
They're all backwards.
You got a mirror image.
Let's flip it.
Let's go.
Wait, this is craziness. It's saying it's not working now. Oh, there we go.
Oh, there we go.
All right. So this
M?
is
what is just the big M in the middle there?
M. This is we actually talked about this last week. We were talking about meme coins and how people actually here. I'll show this chart too. So this is a meme core. I'm gonna be honest. I actually know nothing about it. What I do know about it is that we were talking about the markets.
Yeah.
And let me do coin market cap because they're better at this part. We were talking about the tokens and where people are putting their money, right?
Yeah.
And if you look, M, this M is up here. This MYX, I don't know what this is either. It's over here pumping right now.
Yeah.
MYX Finance. So I hadn't heard about this one either. But, when you look at the top ones, you've got OKB, which, obviously that one's a little bit more mainstream. But we've got MYX, Pengu. If you go down, you got Bonk, and there's a lot of what I'm getting at is there's a lot of meme coins, and I think Rick was touching on it last week about, or last time we were all on, we were talking about how everyone just really is still degenning in the most part, a lot of memes and stuff, and but at the same time, it does show that cycle, really should pick up. It really we should see a meme and a heavy alt season come in strong, just because we are seeing so much movement still into all of these. And plus the layer 2s are looking beautiful. Say was just absolutely killing it for me this week. That was one of my swing plays. And so
Nice.
I had a profit or a sell off at, I think it was up like 40% and it hit it. I like woke up and was like, oh shit, it closed that deal. That's crazy.
Nice.
I love that.
Yeah, it's nice when those hit. And so what we're seeing, though, in my opinion, is a lot of that transition into alt season. And if you look up here as well at the CMC altcoin season index, this was down in the, I want to say the low 30s about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. And now we're seeing it at 69. So it's definitely starting to pump. We're starting to see that liquidity trickle over into the, the altcoin and Ethereum market. We're seeing ETFs get eaten up and bought up all over the place this week. It's been a really good week. Lots of FOMO. So a lot of people have been buying in. That leads me to just the warning of, with all of this and, Bitcoin here, and I'll show it on TradingView because they have some good stuff on here. So with TradingView, we've got a cup and handle forming on the 5 minute, but I think it's on the day as well. Someone was pointing it out. I'm going to leave it on here for now. But anyways, so, with where we are right now, and then, again, this is the 5 minutes. So this is only like 15 minutes of trading. We most likely are going to see a fall off, a retest down. And if you look at the liquidity heat maps, which I'll pull up for y'all real quick, sorry for jumping through. There's just so much I want to cover it quick so we can keep talking. Heat maps. So this is on the 24-hour. We're actually still seeing most of the liquidity piling up towards 118. And so we could see this kind of go back up, tap into this 117.6. That's where a lot of liquidity is sitting. But if we go out to the 48-hour mark, we're actually going to see why I think we're coming back down. So this will be through the weekend too, right? So if we're on Friday, we're getting ready to close out markets, and that's on the 24-hour. We're seeing that liquidity still, people want it. It looks like that longs are wanting to pull to the top side and hit that 118. If you go on the 12-hour, even then, 51 million down here at 115, but we've got 67 million worth of liquidity or liquidation leverage up here at the top. So, most likely we're going to hit this first because we don't have heavy liquidity down. But then, we go on the 3-day and things of that nature. We see that there is definitely looking like a retest on shorts and longs on that 2-day, 3-day positioning. So just be safe. In my opinion, if you have swing bags, what I'm doing right now is taking the profit part out. So whatever I'm up, I'm taking that profit and putting it into a stable coin, but leaving the majority of it in through the day today to see how this continues to move. If we start to break back down, I'll close out most of those swings because they are all up currently. But if we don't continue uptrending, I'll just move everything into stable again. And then we're going to see where we retest. And I'll move everything back in because I think after we retest this next time, and with the FOMC meeting coming up next week and possible rate cuts, that leads us into October, like a lot of people have said, which would be bull run season.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. FOMC is they start their meetings on Tuesday, and they will announce their policy decision on Wednesday at 2 Eastern. Given that, I think we were talking earlier, there's a lot of people are predicting somewhere around like an 86% chance that we'll see a quarter point rate cut. What does that do to the markets moving forward for the rest of September before we roll into Q4? What are your thoughts there?
I'll hop in, and then Tricky and Rick, give me your what you guys are feeling too. But for that close out of September, I think that, like I said, in that traditional sense of the markets and how the markets move in September, August, September being two of the worst months every year for gains, returns, that this is all kind of like it's almost like a fake out. Think of it as a fake out. We're pumping right now, but it's because those numbers are lining up with the things that we wanted to see for rate cuts to come in.
Right.
Now, we have to wait to even see if rate cuts come in. So on top of that, obviously everyone else in the world is like, well, yeah, you have to cut rates, but we've been saying that for a few FOMC meetings. That leads everyone into a lot of people are projecting that we should see a 50 basis point cut, which would be 50 basis points, which would be 0.5% on
in September, or just for the rest of the year.
Yeah, next week that essentially we should be seeing a 50 basis point cut, which would be 0.5% on interest, like I said. But there's also a good chance he just does 25 basis points, saying something like, we're going to start carefully so we don't overcut, and then we'll do 50 basis points on the next FOMC if things keep lining up. We could see something said like that. But if he says 50 basis points on Wednesday, I think that realistically we're priced in right now for these pumps we've seen.
Sure.
So I think that we could see like a short pump that day, maybe 2 on the good news. But realistically, as we wrap up into the 20th, the 25th, the 28th, 30th, that's when we're going to see one more pullback or another sell-off. We could see kind of a black swan event pop up, those kind of things. But all of that in mind, in the analytic and the numbers standpoint and the global liquidity market, we are in the exact same pattern as we have been for every bull run in history so far. So it is literally playing out like it normally does. So even if there is pullbacks, drawbacks, things of that nature, with the basis point cuts coming in, October, November should be very hot in the market. In my opinion, we should be fully into alt season mid to end of October. November, we should start seeing, your memes also pump, which doesn't mean the memes aren't going to pump during the alts pumping.
Right.
They're just going to catch even more as that liquidity shifts. So in the long run, through the end of the year, I think this liquidity cycle is actually going to be like a few more months than a lot of people project. A lot of people say October, November, out in December. I will be playing safely and taking more profit, but at the same time, I'm going to be leaving a decent amount still in case we have an extended bull run to grab extra profit. So we'll see where that goes, but I want to see what everyone else is feeling on this too, because it really could go anyway. And that's something I've been saying to people too. I'm giving my opinions and thoughts on both ways, but it could also be somewhere in the middle of all of that as well. So how you guys feeling? What do you think?
Exactly. I think a 50 basis point would be enough that we might have a little rally, but it'll probably be a 25 and it'll be, disappointment. We'll get a pullback. I feel the energy building though. I don't think we're going to see much of a pullback. Like things are about to take the fuck. I don't know. I can feel it going. I can feel it burning. There's so many more projects coming back right now. There's so many more spaces. I'm noticing a lot of activity and actual collectors coming in just because I've been hearing about it. It's in the news now, so I know what's going on.
So what would a pullback be? Would a pullback be 114? Just like on that heat map, or I think it was
114, maybe as low as 105 for a brief moment. That worst case scenario is what we were all thinking, right?
And for me, I think a realistic touching point would be 110, 111 for sure.
Okay.
But I think we'll see a lot of resistance buying, which we have been around 110. So we'll see that resistance continue. But there is a chance that more bad news or a double bad news thing comes out in a week or two, and it does create a fear in the market where we do see, like Tricky said, my low lows on this retest would be 104, 105. If we break down below that, then we're looking at 99, 98K at that point. But realistically, there's so much resistance. People have been buying massively on the dips during this cycle, which has not happened as much other cycles.
So what's the number where you go all in? Is it 104? Is it 99? Like what? When you're like, I'm pushing all my chips into the table.
If it hit below 104 this week, I would go in. If it did it 2 or 3 months from now, I wouldn't.
No. I'm talking like the next 2 weeks.
Yes.
Next week or two.
Mm-hmm.
I think DCA, Brian.
Yeah.
That's what I think, because either way, do you know what I mean? Either way. But with the Fed, It looks like they're saying 25. I mean, look, this is
Yeah.
Polymarket, so
Mhm.
and according to what CryptoStone is saying, 25 would be a bearish thing, maybe, or priced in.
Yeah, price in.
Just short term too. Short,
Yeah.
like people wishing for that FOMO moment.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly. So I think that we have to take that disappointment into account and maybe say we might keep chopping where we've been, which isn't the worst thing in the world. I mean, maybe a pull back to like 4.3, on ETH, Bitcoin 113, 112, it sits around there. Sol comes back down to like 210, higher lows. Um, and then we get ready to rip. I just remember October last year was the opposite of what everyone thought. It was actually towards the end of October. Actually, the beginning of October was where we really hit that bottom. I remember Sol was like, bro, what was it? Like $10?
Yeah, I think it got down to 10.
And look at it now. And I just think maybe CryptoStone is right here. Maybe just a slight pullback over the next 2 months, and then we really see a bullish end of October, November, and beginning of December. I don't know why. Since the consensus is December is a good time to sell, it probably damn is. You should probably listen to like what the consensus of the community is, and so
And what
I
the
think
big money is doing too, right?
yeah, exactly. So I think that peaking your bags in um, November and then slowly DCAing out throughout the end of the month into December is probably the best thing to do. It's not financial advice. Obviously, I know shit, but it would seem like that's the right play, like according to what people are saying. The only thing is, I just feel a Black Swan event is so
Obvious.
lacking at the moment. There has
Sure.
to be something like that hack the other day was like almost, you know what I mean? It was like an almost, like if that had gone down badly, I think we
Right.
would have really seen some bad action. But because no one was affected by that hack, which was one of the largest hacks ever, by the way.
Mhm.
Did you know it was one of the smallest losses ever too?
Yeah,
$5.
yeah, that is amazing, bro. Like the
Yeah.
biggest hack, the
That's-
smallest loss. Like what?
Yeah.
So I think that like that Black Swan event. I mean, we know we definitely not we're not going to talk about it, but we've seen events this week that have been very contrasting between like different polarizing between
Mhm.
different people, and I think that in itself signals some sort of like unrest that might occur, and I really hope it doesn't. I'm not talking about specifically in USA or anything like that. I'm just saying the world feels
Around
like
the
it's
world,
bubbling right now. And
Mhm.
like we have these situations every 6 months, or in June, July, it was like the Middle East, and there'll be something else that will come up in the next month or two. So that's my only worry that would put a stop in this beautiful plan of October, November, get out in December. I fucking love it. But let's see how it goes, right? You can't control what you can't control. That's the biggest thing, is that we can't account for these big things to happen because we can't control these things. You can't put them into a chart. They are things that are they're in the macro, so there's nothing we can do about it, even as a community. So I guess holding our bags is one thing we can do, but
This does go back to my what I try to teach people as much as I can when we're doing portfolio stuff. This is those moments that having that double portfolio or 3 if you're leveraging, but having your DCA or swing trade account and your long-term account, because in my opinion these are those moments where we swing in and out, we make our money on these big pullbacks by buying, and then we sell those tops again, kind of like this week where I'm pulling out some of that profit again. But then we move some of that money. We have that long-term portfolio, right, that we're always buying and just adding to for for until it's life-changing money. Those long-term 5 to 10 year portfolios. This is those moments where when I look at that portfolio is just killing it. It's accruing. I haven't had to take from it. The swing bag account is doing a similar thing, but obviously it's a smaller number overall. So it goes back to just when we take some of these profits during these swings, if we put a percentage of that into the long-term bag and just keep doing that through a couple of cycles, if you can, do that for a couple of cycles in this moment during the cycle, you're seeing a long-term portfolio that has 4 or 5 years of additions to it, just constantly going up. And then you have that swing account, or that if you do have enough to do leverage with, which I don't recommend necessarily trading much leverage ever, but with the leverage stuff, those wins, you should be you take those and you put that into that long term, and then when you hit these moments of the bull run, that's when those portfolios do like a 50x, a 70x, and things like that.
Right.
I'll be right back too.
What are we looking at there, Rick?
So gold price over the last 10 years, I want to say that like this is what we're going to see Bitcoin's price look over like the next, over the future. We can even go further back if you guys really want. I think this really does go back, let's go back 20 years. And I mean, you can kind of see how Bitcoin could kind of play out like this, like these peaks, these cycles, right, that come all the way back down, going from like, almost 50% drop here, and then all the way back up again, 100% pump to, this massive pump, gold reaching its all-time high this week, sorry.
Yeah.
And so I think that if we look at this, we can see...
Real quick, too, on that gold. So for the gold all-time highs, if you do research on that, too, when gold all-time highs come in, if you pay attention, a lot of the times Bitcoin has one that follows. So that's also an indicator for me. If I see gold hit an all-time high, I start expecting Bitcoin to kind of follow a trajectory.
Exactly. I agree with you. And so that's why I say we can look at those charts and know that like probably the probability is that over the next, 15 years, we could be sitting around here right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we could pull back a little bit all the way here. But over the long run, this just goes up and up and up, despite these bumps and despite. So I think that if you're ever feeling down with your Bitcoin, just imagine 2015 being back down at 1,000 after you bought up here at 1,800. But then look where you 2x'd right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that this is just helps in terms of like looking, because at the end of the day, I look at Bitcoin and gold as a very similar kind of commodity. It's scarce. It's got a depleting kind of. Gold's different in that people find it and stuff, but I'm saying it depletes over time, right? Like people.
One's the physical and one's the digital.
Yeah, exactly.
That you need.
And so I think that there's like Cryptostone was saying, there's a lot of similarities. And when we see this, look at this. When you see a chart like this over the last month and 3 months on such a stable asset, you know that the rest of the assets are going to follow. It's kind of like when Bitcoin pumps and then all the others pump after. I think that we can say that about gold, right? People heavily start investing in gold and then they will go into Bitcoin and all the rest. But Bitcoin, like gold's kind of at the top. So if we're looking at gold, I think that we can say that we've kind of still got a long way to go. But one more thing, 3 months.
What's the market cap of gold right now? Is it 20?
Bro, we getting...
It just hit an all-time high. So what does that put it at? Is that the top there or no?
I'll get it for you now. I just wanted to do this.
No, at the top is per ounce.
Oh.
So there we go.
Whew.
Oh, there we go. So it's at 24.7 trillion, and today Bitcoin's at 2.3.
Basically, silver. Basically, the market cap of silver, bro.
Yeah.
You know what's going to be crazy about this chart? I truly believe that Bitcoin will be $100 trillion market cap at some point too, like in our lifetime, and it'll just dwarf everything we've ever seen financially.
Well, yeah, it had to 10x from here, right? Roughly to hit And if gold stayed the same, it'd have to 10x from here to match gold. To hit its 100 trillion, and have to what 40x?
That puts you near the 30 million too, right? 30 million, or it might not even put you at 30 million per Bitcoin.
Yeah, what would that be?
So because I'm curious.
Yeah.
Who's really fast at math? I'm decent, but not that fast.
Times 40 or times a 40x?
Yeah, we'll do 40x. Yeah.
4.64 million.
Damn, that doesn't even. So and people and there's
from
analysts
from today.
Okay, and there's many analysts that are calling Bitcoin to $30 million. Or $30 million a coin over the next 15, 20 years. So
30 million per coin.
Yeah, even Michael Saylor said that. You haven't heard Michael Saylor say that? He said it so many times.
I love Michael Saylor, but he throws out a lot of outlandish numbers.
Well, the thing is though, is that 30 million that he did throw that out last year, but not the problem. What happened was multiple analysts did the math and numbers and showed the trajectory, did the mass adoption numbers, taking the entire world investing into it instead of just individual companies. And they were like, well, yeah, this could easily, there's more than $100 trillion to move into. That's where I got that number.
Got it.
There's more than $100 trillion to even move around the globe. And if we did go into a digital world where the entire globe was putting their wealth into it, gold would immediately become just not even a top competing commodity. Because
eventually everything will be tokenized.
Yeah, and on top of that, just like Tricky just said, they are tokenizing the stock market. They are going to tokenize the entire world. And so one of the most important things is that you have to have that token. And when people can start making transactions and buying anything they want from anywhere they want in the world by sending Bitcoin instantly from one wallet to another, no matter the distance, it just literally makes every other asset class, which is why Michael Saylor says what he says. And I do agree with it. When that happens, the entire world moves all of the money into the one thing that has that instant interconnectivity on the economic system.
So, I mean, that's a good segue into tokenization, into RWAs, right? It seems like crypto's finally figured out its utility, right? Before we had L1s, we had meme coins, but what is like the true utility of blockchain? RWAs would accomplish everything you just talked about. And so then what? Then does Bitcoin go to $1 trillion market cap within 2035, within 10 years? And do we see, and then what happens with all the rest of the L1s and L2s? So, I mean, is this just the beginning of a massive, like 10-year super cycle bull run? Because if we're going to get to even $1 million, that's not an easy feat from 116,000 where we are today. What's that?
Go ahead, Rick.
Oh, is he talking to his dog?
Oh, he's like, don't call him it. It really depends on the legislation and the legislative side of things and how governments want to move forward with it. But the fact that we're seeing a lot of leniency all of a sudden and a lot of pro crypto, it could kick off. And this is where I have been saying super cycle. And I know you guys have heard me say it more than once now, so I don't have to tell why. But super cycle, could still be a thing in the sense of mass adoption. It has nothing to do with the popularity of it. Right. It has to do with the legislative part of all of this in different countries saying, yes, we see crypto as an asset, as a commodity, they however they all distinct it, and it has to come together in that sense. And when that happens, that's when we will see all of a sudden we're at what are we at today? 4 trillion. We broke 4 trillion market cap. If we were to double that this cycle, that's not mass adoption numbers, but that would still put us at 8 trillion, which does put Bitcoin near a 300K mark, tapping at some point. If we broke that down enough, right. And that's where some people in the analyst side have been saying we might see 300,000 this run, because all it takes is an $8 trillion market cap to really see that.
Right.
I just want to say one thing. Look at the top 10 top assets by market cap, aside from gold, aside from silver, it is all tech companies. Every single one of them are tech companies. Now, what's more valuable to a tech company, Bitcoin or gold and silver?
Right.
Like, Bitcoin should actually be at the top of all of that. Because if you think about it, what's more useful to those top assets, to those top companies? It's digital currency, right? I think, in my personal opinion, anyway, in the future, if we can predict 5-10 years, that will be the currency, right? So I don't see a world where Bitcoin doesn't become number one.
And what happens when these other companies, Nvidia, Microsoft, Apple, Alphabet,
they're going to get bigger,
Amazon,
bro.
No, that's not my question. What happens when those companies adopt a Bitcoin reserve strategy so they can then invest in the top digital asset on this chart? You know what
There
I'm
won't
saying?
be enough Bitcoin for them.
Well, yeah, right. So then what? So now we see. So let's say Nvidia.
Well, there will be enough Bitcoin, but it'll be fractionalized, right? Because
Right.
it's such a big number.
Like, they won't be able to buy one.
Yeah, exactly. They'll have to buy a fraction of a Bitcoin, which is crazy to think, but that's where we'll be at. Is that there won't be enough supply,
let me
so
rephrase
the price will be ridiculous, and you'll have to have 0.0000001, bro.
Yeah. So
Hold on to your Bitcoins. Hold on to your Bitcoins. Jesus.
Let me rephrase. What happens if Amazon adopts a Bitcoin reserve strategy and they buy up, I don't know, 10 billion? Are they then going to leapfrog Nvidia as the most valuable company because they own, not only because they're Amazon, but also because they have a significant supply of Bitcoin? And then they just keep doing that to each other and trying to leapfrog each other by investing more and more money in Bitcoin, and then it creates this flywheel effect, which of course just raises Bitcoin to the top, and then they're all trying to invest more to stay at the top behind Bitcoin. Do you get what I'm saying? That's where I see this going.
Yeah, I love that question. Michael Saylor's proving it right now.
Yeah, exactly.
If you look at the profit, I think he's overall, since he started, 54% in profit, but they've been putting in billions, and they've been buying the top of the damn thing.
Right.
They've been buying the tops of these all-time highs. They're buying it, and they're still up 54% profit. And I think that's what people don't understand is he's buying the tops and proving people wrong on how much is that return coming back. So with what you're saying, yes, once Amazon and these other companies begin to create their own internal, Bitcoin reserve and a treasury set up around crypto, and on top of that, here, let's add to what you said, they create their own token and have Amazon coin and this shit. They're buying your Bitcoin and holding it, and then they're giving you back Amazon coin, which means that they're accumulating Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And then they're going to be buying Bitcoin with their other profits, and they're going to double dip, just constantly earning. And you're going to see what you're going to see, in my opinion. Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy will be one of those companies where all of a sudden, because of that long-term growth, he's been doing this for 8 years, I think now ish, of buying Bitcoin, right? And so if they've been doing that, they're all of a sudden, when the supply shock comes in and when we see a jump to 500K of Bitcoin, well, his profit just went up 300%, 400%. And then you'll see what you're going to see, I think, is someone pass these companies out of nowhere and be like, wait, where did MicroStrategy come? And then most people that don't understand crypto or haven't paid attention won't understand what even happened. Right. And that's also going to take a lot of companies down that don't do this or do some kind of a move into crypto. And then the ones that do, it's going to create those first trillionaires, those $1 trillion companies, those $1 trillion individuals.
It's like e-commerce, right? E-commerce came and they took out all of the department stores.
Yeah.
And now you don't see a Sears or a Macy's or like those are all going away, right? So the companies that don't adopt a Bitcoin reserve strategy are going to go away because you're going to have these MicroStrategies and other companies that have Bitcoin reserve strategy start to leapfrog them. And I think Rick said it. It's going to be so expensive. You're going to be buying a fraction of it just to try to keep pace, and then to catch up. Eventually, they're going to have too far of a lead, and you won't ever be able to catch up. Exactly. So it's interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see how that strategy plays out, how strategy plays out, and how other companies adopt it and how aggressive they are in trying to maintain their lead or maintain their competitive advantage for those companies on that list.
100%. And if you look at the fear and greed, Rick, thanks for bringing this up. The fear and greed is dead center. And also, real quick, before we talk about it, I do want to give love to our chat real quick. First off, Meme Coin fam, Weed Meme Coin fam said hi fam. So what's up? Mama Bear said this next week will be interesting. I did see the S&P closed at highest point ever today, so another all-time high for the S&P, which is just also showing us that bull run, the bull run sentiment, and that we're in it, but also that we're overbought right now, which we'll talk about in a sec. So thank you to Mama Bear, and also congratulations to Mama Bear and Papa Bear. It is their 1 year anniversary of every day doing X spaces, not for
damn, that's impressive.
but doing spaces. It is their 1 year anniversary of spaces, and so at 4 p.m. PST
in 2 hours
today. Yep. So in 2 hours, Mama Bear has her space, and we are all going to show as much love as possible, bring everyone we can, and we're going to be doing giveaways and fun stuff over there. So make sure you guys have that saved as well. So shout out to Mama Bear. I also saw dyslexic Shibtember in the chat a couple times. I saw PJ say Shibtember, and you guys know what? I agree. I have been holding my shib since 2020, and I am ready to freaking rock. So yes, shout out to everyone, and TWAP as well, our 1 second meme trader man.
Yeah.
You need to get in here, homie. I need to
Seriously.
see you in here with us. We miss you. No, but what's up? I wanted to just address the chat because everyone shows us love. So with that, takes us back into where we're at in the market. Overbought, the fear and greed being dead center in that 50. And that is probably, in my opinion, going to go up to greed one more time before we see it go back to fear, which then would take me back to our bull run after that. So I think we see a little bit of greed pop up, a little bit of fear come back from where we're at dead center, and then I think we have our moonshots.
I feel it.
I love it.
It's buzzing. The energy's here, man. I can feel it.
Bro, I love this new chart that they've put on CoinMarketCap, this to market RSI dashboard. It is so cool.
It is.
What is that one? I haven't seen that one.
So it's the average relative strength of cryptocurrency. So each one of them, you can go ahead here and you can just hover over it, and it's going to give you like the strength. So here you're looking for oversold, right?
Mm.
You're looking for like these are like the ones you would kind of be looking at. And then overbought, it speaks for itself. These you'd be kind of, I mean, they're kind of saying a lot of like ETH, and a few of these major ones kind of overbought, which you can kind of see. I mean, if we look at the charts right now, I just don't think that like a 25 basis cut calls for this much of a pump.
Yeah. People are hoping on that 50.
Exactly. And the reality of it is, we all degens. We all want it to be, and it could be. But the reality of it is that there's a 1 in 10 chance that happens. And so I think people are banking on that, and that can get kind of dangerous, I think. But at the same time, if it works out, it works out, right? Like, bro, they're going to be smiling all the way. But I don't know, 50 basis points, what do you think that does? I mean, look, they're even putting Bitcoin here in the overbought territory. So the charts don't lie. If you do follow RSI, the charts definitely don't lie. So you see here Sol heavily overbought, ETH heavily overbought, XRP, Bitcoin not as much, obviously, because the alts have been running. And then you have to know that there's going to be some type of pullback here.
Solana flipped BNB today. You can't tell me that's not overbought. That came out of nowhere. I mean, I love it. And it's amazing for Solana, and Solana's going to do great. But it flipping BNB is a good sign in the market we're in now that it's a little overbought. But because it's been cooking, it's been great.
I have a question for you guys. Where do you see NFTs in all of this? Because
That's a great question. That's a great question. I think NFTs are I love that question. I'll start, I guess. I don't know that NFTs have had their utility moment yet, right? Like blockchain RWAs. I mean, that makes a ton of sense. I think we need I think there's a huge opportunity for these large companies to utilize NFTs and build a stickiness factor with their community and with their customers. I think Pudgy Penguins is a great example of doing just that. Rick, you mentioned earlier there's a company, or I'm sorry, there's an NFT project that's going to start shipping physical products. Is that right?
So Moonbirds,
Yeah,
they teaming up with Crypt or whatever. I'll find the thing, but it's basically physical goods, shoes, watches, Labubu, Pokemon stuff. Real world physical items.
Yeah,
that you can go and pull from the Crypt website. So them teaming up with them, I think that's what they're leaning into. But then we also saw Pudgy Penguins with 500,000 downloads on their game this week, and you look at things like that. Even look at the other side, and I've played the other side. I really enjoyed it. I loved it. I just think you're right. I think the utility moment is coming where people are going to see the actual use of these assets that they've been holding for a while, and I look forward to obviously being one of the projects that we promised something ages ago, and finally we're going to be able to deliver this DApp. And I think that it goes the same with a lot of projects that have been working behind the scenes. They've got stuff like ready to ship, and I think that should we see a shift of liquidity into NFTs, the ones that have stuck around and been here this whole time will do really well because they'll be able to keep up with the market. But people that are trying to come in, I think that we have to take signs like this as well. These massive CryptoPunk sales, they are different, right? CryptoPunks are different, but at the end of the day, they're still an NFT project. So I think I'm still bullish. I think, look, over the last 30 days, we have seen a bit of a hit. You guys know I'm here singing and dancing about the volume every single time. It's been a bad month for us, guys. Down 50% in volume on NFT sales volume across the board almost.
It's funny. It's funny that this is dipping when the market's pumping, because when the market was dumping, this was pumping last time.
Exactly.
If you look at you make your profits somewhere, you come back and you buy NFTs.
It's funny how liquidity moves when you really start to watch just numbers and you see where these swings just constantly move money around. And it's not always in the same place at the same time, but it does move if you're watching it in a certain pattern.
A month ago, I was so excited. I was on here. I don't know if you guys remember going, oh my God, the NFTs, they're coming back. Look at the volume. It's pumping. And look at the last 30 days. So it's just done a complete reversal on where we were headed. And I think that has to do with the volatility of the market. It's you don't want to be holding an asset that is not liquid when the market could pump a lot. They want to take profits, right? And I think that's where the issue lies a lot of the time. They have that short-term kind of mindset that, okay, I want to sell on this next pump, instead of thinking, okay, well, this asset could be worth a lot more in time. So
I was going to tie it back to the previous market cap conversation. So you go first, and then I want to kind of tie everything together and put a bow on it.
Perfect. So this will tie into what you were actually talking about a little bit before too, which was utility and things of that nature, right? So a lot of NFTs are still just art, especially from last cycle. And so what we've seen now is that all of a sudden, a lot of people aren't just buying art right now, or collectibles. Yes, Pokemon cards and things of that are popping, but those are niche. when we look at the market in Web3, we're seeing all of the things that can be done with NFTs and all of the technology, just like Solana Deads, for example. Like, and not just a plug for us, but we are literally building tools that have 20 chain usage, like our verification bot. And that's, if you hold a Deads, you get permissions and rules, right? And so that's what NFT projects are starting to do. It's a trend of whether it be clothing and merchandise. It's going to be the NFT market, I think, is going to see a bigger boom than it saw last cycle. And I think what's going to happen, though, is it's going to dwarf, or certain projects are going to dwarf a bunch of these projects that have been around since last cycle, because all of a sudden the investors are going to be coming into the market with a lot more money this cycle. And they're going to be saying, we know that this can be utility and tools, who's doing it and where. And then in that moment, we're going to see projects flip CryptoPunks and, Bored Ape Yacht Club. I think we're going to see the utility projects have large investors or maybe an institution or maybe, a company buy into some technology that someone's coding in Web3. And all of a sudden you're going to see someone, those NFTs go, and you're going to see those floor go up, and it's going to be people trying to get to the utility. And so I think that's what may happen, which would shake up how the entire NFT world is now, because a lot of it is hype and art.
That's interesting. Do you think there is going to, and maybe there kind of already is, but do you think there is going to be a L1 built dedicated specifically to NFTs and more on a corporate level, or do you think that is unnecessary?
So I think that'll be privatized. Go ahead, Tricky. I'll say that, though. I think it's going to be individualized.
It's kind of like a perk of the chain. You know what I mean? People make profit on the chain. They deploy on the chain. They all it builds a community, kind of. So,
I mean, on the back end, right? Because I don't know who is the cloud computing service provider for HBO Max or Disney Plus or
probably
Netflix.
Amazon.
Probably, right? But it could be any number of them. Like, I don't know who is the data warehouse for Amazon or Walmart or Target, right? Could be Snowflake, right. Could be Databricks, could be any number of these companies. So at what point does it matter what the chain is if you're just looking at the front end, if you're just looking at the utility, exactly, as CryptoStoner mentioned? But I want to tie this back to our conversation around market caps here. And now we talked about how those top 5, the NVIDIAs and Google's and Apple's, if they invest in the Bitcoin reserve strategy, how that amplifies them with their market cap and kind of reinforces Bitcoin as a digital asset. What about NFTs? I mean, when are we going to see mass adoption from the Amazons and Apples and Googles of the world, right? And how will that affect mass adoption? And it could be simple. It could be a digital receipt. It could be a digital identity or profile for Apple that you can take anywhere. Like, when are we going to start to see the Big 10 or Big 5 FANG or whatever start to really embrace this NFT technology and make it mainstream like cloud computing is, or data warehouses are?
I mean, memberships. There's so many different uses for an NFT just to literally be a receipt. I would expect like car companies. If you have the warranty information, all this stuff, all
Carfax.
Data, things like that. Medical field want to do it too, but
the thing is, though, with all of this, is they will. So not all companies. Some are going to put that money into a blockchain that hosts or that they can build NFTs on, right? Mm-hmm. But a lot of these multi-billion-dollar companies, could realistically create their own layer 1 in-house, and never put their money into another ecosystem. And I do think that we were talking about this yesterday on Quack Life's Wednesday TA space. Actually, we were talking about how it's going to be a mix. Some multi-billion-dollar organizations are going to create their own layer 1. They're going to have their own ecosystem. They're going to essentially take in Ethereum, Solana, Bitcoin as much as they can and redistribute their ecosystem onto the blockchain so that they're holding the asset of value. Right. Then, though, you're also going to see other billion-dollar companies that don't take that route. Somebody's going to dump into Ethereum and things of that nature. So to kind of answer some of your other part of the question, which was, is there going to be a layer one that's just NFT based? I do think at some point we see an NFT blockchain focus that comes out that may be for finance, medical, or tokenizing.
Medical records.
Yeah,
that's a great example. Yeah.
And so if somebody's the first to market of being that we are a medical blockchain, realistically, they could be the first one to approach these businesses, have a safe system. So some of those will come, and then some of those will just be on their own blockchain or their own layer one.
Yeah, I mean, medical is a great example. Your medical records, right? If you have a HIPAA compliant blockchain that's only dedicated to medical records, I mean, I see a fantastic use case for that. Isn't Circle building their own L1s dedicated specifically to stablecoins, or one of the stablecoins? I thought it was Circle.
I think you're right. I know Circle's doing something with it, right?
And it's just for stablecoins, right? So I think we're going to start to see a lot of these L1s niche down, just like we see software providers niche down to cloud computing or data warehouse or whatever. And you're going to have very specific L1s built by industries or built by corporations. I've always been fascinated with the Starbucks app and you guys have a Starbucks app? Anybody?
I maybe like 8 years ago.
I drink too much coffee. So I have a Starbucks app, and so I pay with the Starbucks app. So every time it gets below like $5, it automatically reloads, right? So I always have money on there, constantly have money on there. If you take all of that money that people have sitting there, I mean, on average, everyone probably has $3 or $4 always on that app, just sitting there, and you invest it, earning a small percentage every single day. That just goes up, right? So I could see Amazon doing their own version of the Starbucks app, where you want to buy something on Amazon, you just, you basically buy Amazon credits, like you mentioned earlier, and now you can spend that money on Amazon products, Amazon Prime, buying movies for the kids, on movie night or whatever, right? Going to Whole Foods. Like, there's an entire ecosystem that can be built around that. So that's what I find fascinating, and that's what over the next 5 to 10 years is going to be interesting to see how mass adoption takes place with RWAs, with NFTs, with a Bitcoin reserve strategy, and developing their own ecosystem, whether it's a cryptocurrency, whether it's an L1, all that fun stuff. So I don't know. I love these Friday conversations. I think they're fascinating. I have a fun time talking with you guys about it. We do have a few minutes left. I want to make sure we get some updates on Shiba Club, Solana Devs, DeFi Space Donkeys, what's going on just the event-wise around the world, around our worlds with any crypto events. So any last minute thoughts on any of the subjects we just touched on before we kind of move on to closing remarks?
Well, when the internet came about and we were hitting mass adoption and then the bubble popped, like they all consolidated.
Yeah. Like
that's what I'm kind of expecting to happen in the crypto market. But all the big companies, instead of like making their own layer one or like, working with another layer two, I think they'll just absorb another blockchain company and become partners or become one unit.
Yeah. I think there's going to be a lot of M&A activity.
Everyone will just have a blockchain department.
Yeah. I think you have to, just like everyone's going to have an AI department. I think it's
because every one of your receipts is an NFT. So it's fundamental to your business model.
Absolutely. I agree.
Happy Friday, everyone.
Happy Friday. All right, let's go top to bottom here, get some closing remarks. I'd love to hear any updates on Solana Devs, anything that you can share with us?
I'll bring up this screen real quick. We just passed our 30% mark of mint. So
nice,
I'll pull that up over here. But
hold on, let me move you over. Sorry, there you go.
So yeah, we've had some good mints come through.
Lemon fresh.
Hold on. I wanna.
Oh,
Those are
yeah.
cool.
I love the Deads, and shout out to Pup, who actually I get to hang out with next week.
There you go.
Pup is our artist, and so Pup is the one who did all the art for these. He's done multiple projects, so special shout out to him. Get to hang out with him for some food next week while he's passing through town.
Nice.
But yeah, I would say the real update would be for us would be our gatekeeper. We've been getting more people to put this into. Implemented into their discords. We actually had a project on SUI, and we did not have SUI verification as a blockchain on there. And as we looked into it, there wasn't anyone else that had it yet. And then they had there's an API. Basically, it's difficult to get the API. You need to check the blockchain. And then we had found someone that was that had an API. We were able to utilize that one and add that. So now we have 20 chains that we're able to use as a verification system. And basically,
so what does this do? What does Soulbound do?
So the Soulbound Gatekeeper does, it's a Discord edition. So basically you would add this to your Discord. Once it's set up, it's another part of verification. And so you have your normal verification when you go into a Discord. This one actually is a wallet check. So this verifies through your wallet, and you actually link your Discord with your Discord when you're on there. Once you go through the verification bot, it asks for your wallet, and then this could be for anyone. Say that I'm not even going to use the project names. Let's just say there's you have 3 projects in one. You have a token, you have 2 NFT, a volume 1, volume 2 NFT. Mm-hmm. You can essentially create rules for it to check to see if the person in the Discord has one of those, 2 of those. Does that person have the token? Do they have both NFTs? And with that, you can set different things up in your server. Say you want to do a Rumble that's only for holders. So you could set up a Rumble in your Discord, which is a little game you can do. And you could set up that Rumble, but the channel would only be accessible by whoever's a verified holder of your collection. So they would verify their wallet, and we're focused on security with everything. So on that note, most verification bots that currently exist, because there are bots, it's a physical wallet connection where you send a 10-cent or smaller transaction fee, and that side keeps it. The way that Rogue was able to do this is he actually created a self-dust transaction system that has no connection to the wallet. So essentially the verification bot, instead of having to have physical connection to your wallet, you actually tell the bot what your wallet is. That bot sets up a transaction essentially that it wants to see you send this amount to that same address. And so you send yourself that self-dust transaction, and all it's doing is perceiving all of this. So there's never an interaction with our bot and your wallet. Right. It's just watching the blockchain in your wallet. So that is how we keep the secure verification portion of the bot. But also with that, we're the only bot that has 20 chains that it can verify across. So we're trying to bring that verification to as many chains as we can as we build the bot. And so you can implement that.
I love that, because you can verify different NFTs on different chains from different projects and create this like Infinity Stone Gauntlet type of environment where if you have all 5, then you get these into the special room with these special promos and special discounts, blah, 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 right? Yep. And then you can work with real IRL companies that want to build community around those folks, right? So
and the other thing is too, real quick, is we let people do this for free. So you get one rule, you can get it into your Discord and have one role, and that's only obviously if you're going to do stuff with it, you'll need a couple. And so how we've really worked this is if you want to have this in there, you mint deads, you get two roles that you can add per dead. So if you have 2 deads, you get 4 roles, which means you have 5 total. And you can also do this for different projects. So if you're a let's say a Discord manager or a Discord builder, and you want to implement this, you could actually have a few deads and then have roles for 3-4 different projects and have that bot in all of those projects.
Yeah.
So we're looking for scalability. And also, if you don't have deads, we do monthly, and you can pay monthly for that. And, you know, with that, people are also going to be able to custom brand this. It'll always be powered by Solana Deads when it boots, or, you know, when you're using it essentially. But the web page or your landing page for everything can actually be it's a custom page for your bot. And that so that we can have people being able to keep their aesthetic and keep the way that their project may look, but still know that it's powered by Solana Deads. And so we want people to also be able to brand it their own way for their communities, you know, and then that just is a monthly option for people that want to really customize. So
that's cool. I love it. That's awesome. All right. Rick, what updates do you have for MSC? Tricky, I guess you're next. Rick's eating his gummy bears.
I'm looking for some options for Miami. Looks like Art Basel is going to be good again this year. A lot of people are planning on going.
Nice.
I wasn't going to throw an event or anything, so I don't think I'm going to plan an event, but maybe I'll collaborate on something and just go to all the events. So
there you go.
Looking for some you know, some options. I'm going to bring some people together. You know, it won't be anything like last year.
Yeah, that's cool. That'll be fun. Rick, what do we got going on, buddy?
So this is a Shiba just that I've generated. It's like just for you guys quickly. But we've got the DApp is pretty much up and running 100% now. We're adding 240 traits to our pool. We have 240 traits, so we're going to 480. You're going to be able to do whatever you want with these things. And we're trying to get more artists involved as well. New one of ones. We've got specific, so there's Bulvarax, which are like our one of ones, and then we've got sets, which are alphas. So alphas are going to have their own thing with the DApp. Bulvarax are going to have their own thing. And yeah, there's a lot being built. I can't say too much because I've given out so much already, but like you guys can see, this is a new art. Some new traits that are coming in. I think the only old trait here is the snout and the chain. The rest is all new. Oh, and the bees at the top. But you can see how you can use old traits and new traits together to make like something completely new. And so we're looking to bring in more artists, and that's our main focus this month. This weekend, we're doing a sports Saturday. So the whole day tomorrow, we're going to be in the VC. It starts off with English Premier League. That goes into the evening into the UFC Noche. And then that goes into Canelo against Crawford, which is on Netflix tomorrow night. They say the biggest boxing fight since Muhammad Ali fought. Yeah, because it's on Netflix, right? So
is that a pay-per-view on Netflix, or are they just live streaming?
No. You can watch it. If you have Netflix, you can watch it.
Okay.
So it's going to be, I think, one of the most watched boxing events ever. Both undefeated, both like crazy. And then we're going to run Shiba Sunday this week. It's been so good doing Sundays, Shiba Sundays, that we thought we'd do another one this week. We did one 2 weeks ago, and it was really fun. We had quite a few people show up. So yeah, that's it. Getting everything ready. And so we did a marketing this week of you can buy a floor Shiba and swap it with anyone in the vault. Next week, we've got a new promotion running, and these promos are going to run all the way to the antidote drop. So we've got 3 or 4 lined up. That should tell you, how long we're looking at. And after those promos, we should be live. So giving people the opportunity to get antidotes, to get the traits they want, and then we're going to go live with everything. Also, a bunch of other stuff, but I'm not going to bore you. That's it. Thank you very much, guys.
Awesome.
You're never boring.
Crypto, tomorrow you have a dead space.
Oh, thank you, sir. Yes, I almost forgot. We have Saucy Saturday tomorrow. So yeah, we've got Saucy Saturday tomorrow morning, 8:30 PST. Nice dance, Tricky. So yeah, we have the 8:30 a.m. PST Saucy Saturday, we've got the Deads team hanging out with us for that. We do have Snorkel. Snorkel's coming on. They are a SUI NFT project by Frenchie. It's like I don't have them pulled up, but I can pull them up real quick if you want. So Snorkel's coming on. They're our guest. We have a guest every week. And basically what I've been using that time for is just to kind of interview the founders of projects live on Space and ask questions about where they started, where they want to go, all these kind of things, so people can get to know them a little bit better. And it's been really cool because we get to have new communities meeting the Deads, and the Deads are always bringing new communities to meet our community. So it's been really fun. So I just pulled them up here.
I love being on either side of those.
What was that?
I love being on either side of those.
Yeah. Tricky was on a few weeks ago. So we had Tricky on a few weeks ago for Saucy Saturday, and we got to sit and talk about Tricky Tees, his NFTs. We talked about, him and I both have been in the fitness industry in the past. So we talked about health and fitness that day. It was a lot of fun. So, I was trying to find the Snorkel's Mint page, and I cannot find it.
All good. So we have Saucy Saturdays, we have Shiba Sundays, we have Mama Bear coming up at 4 p.m. Pacific in about an hour and a half.
1.5.
That's it, guys. I love doing these shows. I love talking with these guys for an hour or so. But I want to remind everyone this show is about you guys. So if there are specific projects that you want to talk about, specific people that you want us to interview, it could be RWAs, it could be NFTs, it could be anything that you guys are interested in. Let us know, make an introduction. We'd love to have them on, love to interview them. We're going to keep doing this. I don't even know how many shows we've done. I feel like it's been close to 20, maybe. I don't know.
Way more than 20.
At least, right? Like, I don't know. Oh, there we go. Snorkels. But yeah, guys, this is sponsored by weed. I always forget to say that. Go out and get yourself a bag of weed. Get yourself a bag of weed. All right, so this is the Snorkel.
Mm-hmm. So this is
Snorkel. I like that Blue Dragon one with the pink.
So that's a Gyarados head, and these, so that's a one of one, I believe. I could be mistaken. This is another one of the one of ones, the Princess Peach looking one. Yeah. These are the Snorkels. This is who's coming on tomorrow. Nice. They're going to come hang out with the Deads. And the other fun thing is shout out to What If. But he does a video every week for whoever the guest is. So when we have a guest on, like when Tricky came on, it was a Tricky Solana Deads video. And so, that's something else that's fun about the Saucy Saturday is there's always a special video for the, hey, this one's mine. There's always a special video for him. So, so come hang out tomorrow. Please make sure you guys show up to Mama Bear Space. That one I'm the most excited for this week was the celebration of their 1 year. And I know a lot of people are coming to hang out, so we'll see you guys over there in a little bit.
That's a huge accomplishment. Yeah, congrats, Mama Bear. That's amazing. 365 days is a huge accomplishment. All right, guys, that's it for me. I love talking with you guys. Have a great weekend. I'm sure I'll see you in the spaces and on the timeline. Take care.
Peace.